Hi. So what I'm going to do is just go through the first few answers and just sort of talk you through the process of how to analyze the parts of speech. So we'll start with the first word that we have underlined. It's has. And so the reason that we know it's a verb is because when we look right before it, we can see that there is a noun here, the Fresno Unified School District. That is a thing or an organization. So it comes at the very beginning of our sentence. In English, we know that that has to be the subject. So every subject has to have a verb that agrees. And so in this case, we can say the Fresno Unified School District has. So those agree, and also has some tense. It has present tense, and we know that it agrees because if we change it to, for example, they, or we could say the teachers, then this word has would also have to change to agree. So we would have to say they or the teachers have an opportunity. And so that gives us the clue that it is a verb, and then the Fresno Unified School District is its subject. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So we've got this little word here, on, and anytime you have a little word like this, it's probably going to be either a preposition or possibly an article, or maybe a conjunction, anything that's real small. In this case, we know that it's a preposition because what it is doing is attaching a noun, its core mission. That is a thing, that is one single thing. We could say it, okay? So this it means Fresno Unified's possessive. So the sentence is really to put its attention on it, on the thing. And so we know that if we have a sentence and then we want to attach a noun to it, the only way that we can do that is through a preposition. So on must be a preposition. Okay, and then we move on down, and we've got classrooms here. And so we can look at it and we can see, okay, that's a very concrete noun. It's easy to see that it's a noun. But we also can see that there is an S on the end. It's plural. So that is definitely a noun. And then we can look right before it and we can see that it has some determiners or adjectives on the beginning of them. So the district's many is modifying classrooms. It's telling us some information about this noun. And so that gives us a clue that it's a noun. Another clue is that we can look and see this word in here, okay? So in is also a preposition, just like on. And so we know that in English, right after a preposition, there's got to be a noun. And in this case, it's a noun phrase, the district's many classrooms. So that is a thing, and that is the noun that needs to be connected to the rest of the sentence with the preposition in. Okay, then we go into the next sentence, and it's we, and I hope that you can see that that is a pronoun. That is the editorial board or the writers of this article, this editorial, and so they don't want to name themselves, so they say we. We urge all parties in the fractured school system. Okay, so when you see fractured and you see that there's an ED on the end of it, your first instinct might be to say, oh, this has to be a verb. But when you look closely at where it is in the sentence and what it's doing, it's pretty clearly not a verb. So right before it is an article, right after it, school system is a noun. That's not where verbs go. So looking more carefully, we can see, okay, the fractured school system, that is a whole thing. That is a noun. And in fact, it's joined to the sentence with a preposition. So in the fractured school system. So the fractured school system must be a noun. And in fact, I can say in it or in the place or the thing. And so here we can look at what is it doing in the sentence? Well, it's right before the, and then it's right after this noun, and the only thing that can go there is an adjective. So that would be similar to, you know, the big dog or the blue book. So very, very clearly an adjective there. Okay, and then the very last one is play out. And this is actually a verb phrase. It's a two-part verb. So both of these words go together to combine to make one single verb. And how we know it's a verb is we look right before it and we see what is going on. And so we can see, okay, as actually is a conjunction, even as is the whole conjunction. And then other controversies. Okay, other controversies, that's a noun phrase, that's a thing. And so we've got our, actually our subject, it's our subject of our sentence. So even as is a conjunction, and then other controversies, that is a noun. And so when we have a conjunction and then a noun, then we're expecting to see the rest of the clause there. And so after a noun is going to be a verb. And you can, you know, play around with this a little bit. Just kidding. You can play with this a little bit. I can't stop saying that word. And you can kind of substitute some different words in there, different verbs that you know. The controversies go, or the controversies run, or the controversies did, if you want to use past tense. You can take this play out and you can change it to past tense. So you could say if this happened in the past, they would say even as other controversies played out with the ED. And then it also agrees in number, because if we change controversies to controversy, we would have to say the other, we would say a controversy plays out. So that, those are all pieces of evidence that we can say shows that other controversies is the subject and play out is the verb here.